beautiful Shabbat. Shabbat that blesses the week that has in it the anniversary of when the previous Rebbe passed away. Next Shabbat, 71 years ago, and the Rebbe became Rebbe. So, very, very special. So we'll have the Havdallah and then all the blessings followed by our story of Tzadikim. El Yeshua si eftach v'lo yefchad v'zimras yadinoi vayehi lishoa Ushiaftem mayim besasoy mi mayinei hayeshua ladoyinoi hayeshua alamcha b'yirchasecha sela Adinoi tzevoi siyimano mizgablano elehei yakoisela Adinoi tzvoi ashrei adam boitei avbach Adinoi Yoshia Hamelech Yaneinu Ve'yayim Kareinu
La Yehudim Haisai Rebbe Simchas Mikar Kenti Alanu
La Yehudim Haisai Rebbe Simcha B'Sawasayin Bikar Kenti Yelanu Kais Shuais Eso V'Shem Adonai Ekra Sabri Marana Marachato Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam B'Rei Pri Hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam b'yedei minei psamim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam b'yedei minei yoesh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Hamavdil ben kodesh lechoel ben elchoshev Yisrael lo amim ben yoim ashvi l'sheshes me'amaz baruch atah Adonai hamavdil ben kodesh lechoel.
Amen.
Come drink.
Shavua Tov. Good
A blessed week, and always I'm going to take now some of the blessing for Parnasa, livelihood, wisdom, faith, Mashiach, and all the blessings to happen in this coming week. So, Shvat is a month of rebirth. In it we have Tu B'Shvat, the holiday when the trees start the new process of growth, a time of miracles, and that's what we do every Saturday night after Havdallah Matzah Shabbos is we give a story, we share a story of tzaddikim, righteous people, usually of a miracle. So God should make in our life during this year, during this week, that we should all experience many beautiful miracles. So I want to share a story that there was a Jew, a Jew, a husband and a wife, very fine couple, very good people, did quite well in business. This is going back in Eastern Europe. But one thing about this couple is that they were childless. They couldn't have children. And even though they were strong followers of Rabbi Yisrael of Kushnitz, the Kushnitz Maggid, a great holy man, lived about 200 years ago, somehow they never had children. They asked for blessings. It never materialized. As they were getting older, the wife tells the husband, this time when you go to visit your Rebbe, you don't leave his office until he gives you a clear blessing for children. We're getting older in years. We can't just continue like this. So he pours his heart out to the Rebbe and he says, Rebbe, we don't have children. Time is passing. Please, we need your bracha for children. Whatever you can do, you have to make a blessing happen. My wife doesn't want me to leave until I leave with the blessing. So the Rebbe put his head down, thought for a few minutes, and he said, if you're ready to give up your wealth, I think we can pray for you to have a child. Are you ready to give up your wealth? So he said, listen, from my side, I'm ready, but I can't tell you this without consulting with my wife. So let me consult with my wife. And that's what he does. He consults with his wife. And he comes back and he tells the Rebbe, my wife said anything for a child. So he said, okay, this is going to be a lot of travel on your time. In those days, travel wasn't with planes, even trains. It was on foot, maybe a horse and buggy. He says, before you start your travels, I want you to first go see my colleague, the Chayzer Lublin, the Seer of Lublin. The Seer of Lublin was a great Rebbe as well, and he was called the Chayzer, the Seer, because he was able to look into a person and see many things about where lies the blessing for the person. So he goes to the Chayzer Lublin, makes an appointment, he goes to a private audience, and he tells them why he's there. And the Chayzer says, I know why you and your wife can't have children. Because at one time, when you were much younger, there was a girl you promised to her that you're going to marry her. But then as you got a little bit older, your interest turned away from her. You never married her. You hurt her feelings. And because of that, you haven't had children. You have to ask her mechila. You have to ask her forgiveness. Travel to a certain town, gave him a town to travel to, and there you will be able to have that opportunity. It's a faraway town, and he starts to travel weeks. Finally comes to the town. He starts asking about this girl, and no one knows about this girl. So he goes it was raining one day. He goes into a store. And he sees two women are talking to each other. And he overhears a conversation that one of the women was saying, very beautifully dressed, beautiful clothes, well put together, middle-aged woman. And that woman says to the other, do you know that man over there? I was once, we were supposed to get married to each other, but he dumped me. He never got married to me. And when he overheard the conversation, he turns to her and he says, are you Miss So-and-so? So she said, that's me. He says, I traveled all the way here because I feel so bad. I must have made you feel that I want to ask forgiveness. And we're married, but I don't have any children. and I know I can't have any children until I ask you for forgiveness. Please forgive me. So the woman said, I don't need forgiveness, but I have a nephew who has a daughter to marry. He lost all his money. He needs 200 golden coins. If you give him the 200 golden coins, I will forgive you. Shuri, the man said, tell me where he lives. And she gave him a town that was another long distance away. And he goes to the town, finally gets there, and he looks up the person, he goes to meet him, and he says, I hear you're marrying off your daughter. I want to help you. So the guy says, oh, wow, it's unbelievable. I'm marrying off a daughter. I just lost a lot of money. I don't know how to marry her without money. They want to call off the marriage. You're coming just in the nick of time, and I really appreciate it. And the man says, I'm going to give you 200 golden coins. He says, wow, that's so generous to someone I never met before. But why would you do that to me? So he says, what do you mean? He says, your aunt told me that you need the money. He says, what are you talking about? So he tells the name of the woman. He says, they're crazy. She passed away 20 years ago already. What do you mean she told you? So the guy says, what do you mean? I saw her. She was dressed, this is how she looked, and the clothes she was wearing. So they realized that her sisters, this fellow's aunt's neshama came down from Shemayim to help her nephew, but to help this man get forgiveness so he can have children and many children. So he gave him the money. It was all the money he had, and he went back home, happy that now they'll be able to have a family of children. And this is the end of the story. But there's a tremendous lesson in this story, and that is that we have to be so careful how important it is never to hurt anyone. Sometimes we think if I don't hurt someone in a big way, in a very meaningful way, impactful way, it doesn't make a difference. But here we see sometimes hurting someone's feelings, even when we don't think much of it, means a lot. How careful we have to be not to hurt anyone's feelings. If we want to have success in our life and blessings from Hashem in our life, we should always be very sensitive to other people's feelings and trying to help to make sure we don't hurt anyone, we don't make anyone belittled, and we don't make anyone feel bad. May Hashem help that just like Hashem did so many things to be able to allow him to make up and to have children, so Hashem should help that we in our life should be so much more sensitive, especially during this time when we're feeling a little bit on edge, a little anxious from all this curfew and this lockdowns, and we may not be so sensitive to others as we're absorbed in our own issues in life. We have to be so careful now, especially for others, because everyone's on edge. Every little thing could be very hurtful. So may Hashem help that we should have a beautiful week full of goodness, sharing goodness with each other, lifting each other up, helping each other feel better, more happy, and more spirited, and more positive. And may we all have a great week, physically, materially, and spiritually, for all of us. And we'll finish off with singing Eliyahu Hanavi, may he come soon to usher in the Mashiach quickly in our days. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi b'meira. Yava Eleinu Mashiach ben David b'meira. Yava Eleinu Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben David. Shavua Tov.